Imagine this for a moment. Tomorrow morning you wake up and every title you've earned, your job role, your degree, your status, your label, has vanished. No introductions, no badges, no resume, no applause, just you and whatever is left. In that moment, a haunting question rises like a mirror you can't avoid. Without the title, who are you? It's a wake-up call, because titles can be handed out, taken away, bought, gifted, stolen, or forgotten. But identity is built. And the world is moving so fast that if your sense of worth is attached to a label, you will be replaced the moment the label loses relevance. Today, we confront the uncomfortable truth and the extraordinary opportunity hidden beneath it. When you detach from the title, you finally discover the person capable of leading, creating, impacting, and inspiring with authenticity, not authority. The moment a man's title disappears is the moment his true foundation is exposed, because without the armor of achievement, he must face the raw version of himself. When men lose the role they've been conditioned to perform, they confront a deeper question. Was the respect they received earned through who they are, or borrowed from the position they held? Women often see this fracture before men do, noticing how heavily identity is tied to the performance of being useful. When the title falls away, what remains is the man's character, his emotional honesty, and his ability to stand without external validation. Labels are effortless. Anyone can claim a title, a status, or a role, but character is forged in the moments no one is watching. Men often measure themselves by the label society hands them: provider, leader, winner. Believing identity is a function of recognition. Women perceive the gap clearly, noticing when respect is given for position rather than integrity. True strength emerges not from what is written on a business card or announced at a dinner table, but from the choices a man makes when he is unseen, unpraised, and uncelebrated. When the world offers no applause and his values are tested, a title can open doors, command attention, and demand respect, but it is silent the moment a man's actions don't match it. Men often rely on labels to speak for them, believing that authority and recognition will define their worth. Women notice when the voice behind the title is hollow, sensing the gap between perception and reality. True influence comes when a man communicates through consistency, integrity, and courage, when his behavior, decisions, and empathy declare who he is louder than any label ever could, proving that respect must be earned, not inherited or assumed. True power is revealed when nothing is handed to a man, when titles, privileges, and recognition are stripped away, leaving only his choices and resolve. Men are often conditioned to measure themselves by what they inherit or achieve externally, but real strength emerges in the absence of external validation. Women instinctively notice this, observing who steps up when comfort, safety, and status are removed. The men who thrive in those moments are not defined by what they were given, but by the resilience, discipline, and integrity they summon from within, proving that identity is self-built, not bestowed. True value is born internally, not from titles, accolades, or the approval of others, because what is cultivated within cannot be confiscated or diminished. Men often chase recognition, believing that a position, a salary, or a label defines their worth. But the truth is that external validation is fleeting and conditional. Women observe this quietly, recognizing the difference between those whose confidence is fragile and those whose strength is rooted in self-awareness and principle. When a man understands that his value comes from his integrity, discipline, and empathy, he stops measuring himself by comparisons or societal expectations. He begins to lead from authenticity rather than authority, inspiring without demanding, creating without permission, and standing firm when titles are challenged or removed. In those moments, the respect he earns is real, enduring, and impossible to take away because it springs from the unshakable foundation of who he is. Leadership is not a title, a position, or a nameplate on a door. It is an extension of identity, a reflection of who a man is when no one is watching. Too often, men are trained to rely on external symbols of authority to define their influence, mistaking position for power. Women notice this discrepancy immediately, sensing when respect is given to a label rather than the person behind it. True leadership begins when a man steps forward not because a title demands it, but because his values, courage, and integrity compel him to act. When leadership is rooted in identity, it becomes resilient, adaptive, and genuine. Men who lead from who they are cultivate trust that cannot be taken away by circumstance or hierarchy. They make decisions anchored in principle, not ego, and navigate challenges with a quiet confidence that draws others naturally. Women recognize this authenticity, responding to the man who embodies his word, rather than the man who occupies a position. Leading from identity requires introspection, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to align actions with character. It demands that a man confronts his weaknesses, embraces accountability, and demonstrates consistency in both public and private life. When influence emerges from identity, it cannot be assigned, revoked, or imitated. It is earned and undeniable, creating a legacy far beyond any title O. Our label